Carnegie Hall is the landmark, a landmark for greatness.
When you become internationally recognized, you need to take a trip to Carnegie Hall.
After 10 years of development and hard work, the symphony decided that now was the time to take on New York.
We had to have a sponsor, a supporter to go to Carnegie. The Jacobs family wanted to celebrate Irwin Jacobs' 80th birthday. We found Lang Lang, who was available. He had worked with our maestro, Jahja Ling, for many years. And it just so happens the dates that were available at Carnegie, the stars were truly in alignment. We were able to take advantage of that situation.
Playing in Carnegie is both, it's a combination of pressure and privilege.
A little intimidating.
You want to measure up.
Excitement. This was the one. This is the performance.
Everybody was so shocked. I mean, like, they hear a different orchestra because the orchestra adjusted so well to the acoustic, and the audience was just absolutely so entranced and like mesmerized.
I think what was most meaningful was the fact that so many San Diegans flew to Carnegie and flew to New York just to hear us in this one performance.
Over 400 people from San Diego. I felt like the visiting team.
It was astonishing. It was so exciting, and it was a sold-out performance. It was sold out.
That night, when you came by Carnegie Hall, you could see the sold-out banner right over Lang Lang's picture. It was one of the most exciting things.
And at the end of the symphony, to see everybody jump to their feet, giving a standing ovation, including the chief reviewer for the New York Times, Anthony Tomasini, you know you have had an incredible evening. What about the idea of going to China?
We want a cultural exchange to our sister city. First things, I think I have to bring the San Diego Symphony to Yantai.
She said to us, I grew up in China, I know the people in China, and San Diego, we can do this. I will make this happen.
Fresh off the success of Carnegie Hall, the symphony now undertook the most daunting challenge in its history, a landmark tour of the People's Republic of China that would propel the symphony onto an international stage.
Going to China and working out all the logistics, going from city to crossing borders, is 10 times more complicated.
In China, each city is almost like its own country. Flight arrangements, hotel arrangements for multiple nights.
180 cases.
Close to 120 people.
You've got language barriers. That's the other challenge, is once the concert is over with, they knew where their instrument went. Somebody has to do a count to make sure each and every instrument is in there, to make sure it's packaged, it's not loose. You can't forget anything.
The symphony traveled to 3 cities, Beijing, Shanghai, and its first stop, San Diego's sister city of Yantai. But the tour was about much more than the symphony's performances.
Let's make this something very worthwhile for music, to celebrate relationships between the United States, San Diego, and China. Let's make this a friendship tour.
San Diego Symphony came ready to perform music played at the highest level. And in return, the people of Yantai welcomed them with open arms.
And you walk in and there's already an entire live orchestra there just greeting us. And then to have the evening go on with multiple performances on stage.
I think the thing that amazed me was the mask dance. And they would do it so fast you couldn't even tell.
The way they performed, the way they looked when they performed, it brought me to tears.
We had musicians going out to families' homes just to have lunch, to interact with them on a personal level, get to know somebody from another country.
We were making a difference, not just classical music, but really developing a special bond with another country.
It was a shared love of the arts and the culture, and I think there was fascination on their part as well as ours.
The symphony continued this spirit of reaching out in each tour city. At Shanghai's Conservatory of Music, they gave master classes in orchestra, violin,
Maybe a little differently,
and piano. And Maestro Ling mentored promising young conductors in the fine points of their craft.
Down, just be steady, give the chord. Don't care about the playing, they have to play with you.
In Beijing, the full orchestra performed at a regional university for people who may rarely have the opportunity to hear this kind of music live.
When the show starts, I became part of it, and I feel my heart beat.
And then, in Beijing, there was a special concert for a special audience.
It was really touching to share with all the children and the people in the hospital what we could give to them.
And it was just amazing how the music itself could really engage these children, and the fact then that we were able to sort of interact with them in a language they understood just sort of took it to an entirely another level.
I think it is part of our job to go where the people are in order to share our music. It's part of our calling.
Amidst all the cultural and outreach activities, in the end, the focus was on the performances. The symphony presented 2 world-renowned soloists and played in 4 very different concert halls, each with its own set of challenges.
The day we stepped onto a new stage, we immediately had to adjust, rise to the occasion. We had to adapt.
I still can't hear the bass line. Can we just do the bass line once so that we can adjust to that? You can't hear anything.
Each hall is just different as any person, as one from the other.
It's always that first sound that you play. It's a big question mark, you know. What's the feedback going to be like? What's the reaction from the acoustic going to be?
And once again, we knocked it out of the park.
I think that especially when that kind of applause is something, because that's probably the most prestigious hall in China. So when we can have that kind of impact again in Beijing, like in New York, I feel very proud of this orchestra, to show it to them what this orchestra greatness is. Look, this is what we have accomplished in 10 years working hard. The orchestra played like so magnificent. I mean, the reviews everywhere, from Yantai to Shanghai, it was like absolutely rave. People realize it, not only in San Diego, but also in New York and also in China. Even for me, more important than the review. The reaction from the audience is just really make everybody in tears, because it's so moving. It's so I feel the warmth of everybody together on that stage. You know, the friendship and the 2 countries.
All of the key individuals that we did have, which was Qualcomm itself, Joan and Irwin Jacobs, Sam Urson, June Shillman, and at the same time, we had hundreds of people that gave $50, $75, $100, $5,000 donations that made this all happen. And so this wasn't just a symphony tour, this was a San Diego tour. And everything that happened just said, we have now gotten on the map as a great orchestra. And I think you're going to see this symphony do some great things in the future.